Now to news here at home. People in parts of Steinbach, Manitoba are dealing with the aftermath of heavy flooding caused by heavy rains. These images show cars stranded on roads that turned into rivers. Some basements also reportedly flooded. But there is some good news in the forecast, with little to no rain for the rest of today and tomorrow. The CBC's Cam McIntosh is outside an animal shelter in Steinbach, joining us now with more. So Cam, talk to us a little bit about what it is you have been seeing on the ground there. It would seem that there is quite a bit of standing water there behind you.
Yeah, so life is pretty much back to normal here. The water has mostly completely dropped. As fast as it came, it's also gone. In some low-lying areas, though, there's still some water around. We're standing next to a creek back in behind those willows and that tall grass there. You can see here where it's come up over its banks, and you can see how high it got. Where I'm standing right now, it's still wet. The water is kind of squeaking under my feet. But if you take a look on this fence here, take a look at that grass that's been kind of pushed up against the fence there. That's how high the water level was. So in the course of just a few hours, water here in low-lying areas coming out of sewer systems and geography like that creek there, really coming up. Over here, this is the local pet shelter and sanctuary. That building, the basement flooded. They've been pumping some water out this morning, but again, earlier today, basically in the span of 15 minutes, the water in that basement went from knee deep and dropped as the sewer system caught up here. The city of Steinbach now saying that sewer system that was overwhelmed in the early hours of this morning is now back to pre-storm levels.
And Cam, just how much rain did this community get, and do we expect more in the near future?
So according to the province, it's about 126 millimeters of rain. So 12 centimeters, to put that in perspective, that's more than the average rainfall here that you would get in June, which is typically the wettest month of the year. So it's not that it's a lot of rain, but it's a lot of rain to get all at once. So that's the problem. That's why the sewer system got overwhelmed here. That's why creeks and low-lying areas are getting filled in, because there just wasn't enough time to absorb all that in the span of 3 to 4 hours. And this was also the result of not just one storm, but actually a few storms that began to form in southern Manitoba, kind of south to Winnipeg, and made their way east here, all of them really coming over the Steinbach area. So Steinbach getting hit really hard here by a number of storms in a very short period of time, left all that standing water around. The good news for the community is most of that water has now left or is dropping, but there are, like this animal shelter here, there are many people in this community right now that have wet basements. The city of Steinbach, there's about 15,000 people here, now working with the province to figure out whether or not this actually qualifies for emergency disaster relief for things that may not be typically covered under home insurance or flood insurance.
That is a lot of rain, that is for sure. Some of that video that we were just showing is pretty remarkable. Okay, Cam, thank you for this. We do appreciate it. The CBC's Cam McIntosh in Steinbach, Manitoba. Let's go back to one of the top stories that we're tracking. 2 months worth of rain turned streets into rivers in Steinbach, Manitoba, leaving residents scrambling to protect their homes and belongings. Graham Pollock, who is in Steinbach, is the vice president of Steinbach and Area Animal Rescue, and he joins us now. So, Graham, thank you so much for making some time for us today. I'm sure you have a lot of cleanup ahead of you still.
Oh, yes, we do, Hillary, but thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And you're coming to us from your car today, speaking to us from your car, I understand, because the pumps are so loud at this point. I'm hoping you can talk to us a little bit about what the past several hours have been like for you at the rescue.
Well, yeah, it's waking up at 2:30 to a phone call that the basement is flooding again is not the best way to start a Friday. But unfortunately, that was it for me. And Our president, Michelle, had been at the rescue earlier in the evening, around 11 o'clock, midnight, and the rain was coming down pretty heavy, and one of our volunteers had come in to give her a hand with doing some things at the rescue, and she saw that the water was coming across the back part of our property. We've got a kind of a drainage ditch, creek running along the very back of our property, and she noticed the water was starting to creep along the backyard into the dog run area and all that kind of thing. And so, but at the same time, unfortunately, Michelle's house started to flood her basement. So she had to leave the rescue and go home to help her husband. And our volunteer, Tamara, was there, and she did what she could around the building. But then at 2:30, she called and said, like, the basement is flooding, the water's coming in.
Well, and we're looking right now, Graham, at video that I understand is from the animal rescue. Pretty devastating here. That is a lot of water that is inside the facility. Can you talk to us about the animals that you have and how many, what types, and if you were able to get them all out of harm's way as that water started to come in?
Yeah, our biggest concern, Hillary, was that the water was starting to come up the stairwell and from the basement. And all our animals are housed on the main floor of our facility, and we were concerned that it was going to reach the main floor because we had no idea how much rain was going to continue to drop. So that was our biggest concern. And Tamara got hold of a group of our fosters through our foster social media, and she was able to arrange for people to come in and start bringing the animals to their homes. So we had about 22 or 23 kittens and cats in the rescue, all on the main floor. Fortunately, we had no dogs in rescue. They were all in foster care already. So yeah, we got them all out, and fortunately, it never did reach the main floor, though. We had about 7 feet of water in the basement, though.
Yeah, which is obviously not what you want to have happen. Some of the videos and photos that we've been sharing are really quite something. What sort of impact, Graham, is this now going to have on your ability to rescue other animals and to take care of the ones that you already have at your facility?
Well, we're a foster-based organization. Even though we have a facility, it's not like a humane society where we're set up for long-term housing. Our idea is to try to get our animals into foster care as quickly as we can. Pardon me. So we try to do that, and we've got a really good network of fosters that continue to operate even if our building is not operational. So that's not going to be as big an impact. Our ability to take in new animals is going to be affected a little bit. Obviously, we're going to have to be a little more selective in the more emergent cases coming in, because we just don't have the manpower or the resources in our foster group available to take every single one in. So yeah, it's going to be tough for sure for the next couple of months.
Graham, I understand that this happened about a year ago, that you've experienced flooding in the past. I'm wondering what sort of help you need now in order to get back up and running after two really devastating incidents here of flooding.
You know what, Hillary? We live in an area that is extremely generous and charitable, and we're a not-for-profit. We have zero grants or provincial or federal or municipal help in our operating costs. It's all charitable donations and gifts, and that's probably what we're needing right now. Is people are wanting to bring us dog food and cat food because we've lost all of our dog food and cat food that was downstairs stored for our fosters. So people want to bring it, but we have nowhere to keep it. So we're saying, you know what? If you can donate $20, $10, and we can use it towards replacing the food that we need, because our operation still continues to operate. I mean, we still have to provide all of our fosters with the necessities that they need to care for our animals. So, yeah, so that's the biggest thing, and I'm sure our community is going to come through for us. They always seem to find a way, and yeah, but it's going to hurt. There's no question. I mean, our deductible for our insurance is $25,000. So we have to cut a check for $25,000 as a not-for-profit that we didn't budget for. And that's the second time we've done it in 51 weeks. So that's a tough hit.
That's a tough hit for sure. Well, we certainly hope, Graham, like you say, that the community pulls through for you. We appreciate your time today. And we do hope, of course, that you're able to get back up and running and on your feet as soon as possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate this.
Thank you. Graham Pollock is the Vice President at Steinbach and Area Animal Rescue.